The rain drummed against the pavement, a relentless tattoo that mirrored Steve's racing heart as he stood outside the shadowy entrance of an underground club, known for its ties to the city's most notorious figures. He tugged at his collar, feeling the weight of despair mixed with determination. A week ago, he had been surrounded by flowers and laughter, on the brink of a life with Sarah. Now, all that lay shattered in the wake of her betrayal.
Steve!
A voice called out, slicing through the din of the rain. Detective Carter emerged from the shadows, his trench coat soaked, but his expression sharp.
You shouldn't be here.
Neither should you, Detective. I need answers. I need to know why she did this.
You think this is just about her? This goes deeper. You're tangled in something much bigger than a broken engagement.
Steve clenched his fists, feeling the anger boil beneath his skin.
I don't care about any of that. All I care about is finding Sarah and understanding why she set me up.
Set you up?
Carter raised an eyebrow.
You think she's the mastermind behind this? The identity's stolen, the money siphoned off? You're not seeing the whole picture.
The whole picture?
Steve's voice shook with frustration.
I'm the one who was left at the altar. I'm the one who trusted her.
Carter studied him for a moment, then sighed.
All right, let's go inside. If Sarah is involved, we need to find her before it's too late.
They pushed through the heavy door, the bass of music thumping like a heartbeat in the background. The club was dimly lit, filled with a haze of smoke and the scent of desperation mixed with cheap perfume. Steve's pulse quickened as they navigated through the throng of bodies, each face a blur of joy or sorrow.
Over there.
Carter pointed toward a back room where shadows danced behind a beaded curtain.
That's where the deals go down.
Steve swallowed hard, the lump in his throat a reminder of everything he had lost.
What if she's in there?
Then it's time to confront her.
Carter moved forward and Steve followed, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. As they stepped through the curtain, the scene that unfolded was surreal. A group of men crowded around a table covered in stacks of cash and flickering tablets displaying names and numbers. And there, standing at the center, was Sarah, her back turned to him, laughing, light and carefree, a stark contrast to the turmoil in his heart.
Sarah!
He shouted, the word echoing in the charged atmosphere. She spun around, her laughter fading as her eyes widened in shock.
Steve, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? You're the one who betrayed me. You think you can just waltz into a place like this after leaving me at the altar?
The laughter died completely, replaced by an eerie silence. Sarah's expression shifted from surprise to something darker, almost calculating.
I didn't leave you, Steve. I was trying to protect you.
Protect me? From what? From you?
From them.
She gestured toward the men who had turned their attention to the unfolding drama.
I'm in deep, Steve. I had no choice.
Deep? You could have told me. We could have faced this together.
You don't understand. If I had told you anything, they would have killed you. They don't play games.
Who are they?
People who don't like loose ends. I was trying to get the money back, the identities they stole. I thought I could fix this before it spiraled out of control, but I didn't know you would come here.
I'm not afraid of them. What's worse than losing everything? I'd rather face death than live in a world built on lies.
Listen.
Carter stepped between them, his eyes darting to the men at the table, who were now watching with interest.
We need to move. Now.
Move?
Steve echoed incredulously.
I'm not going anywhere until I get the truth from her.
Steve, please.
Sarah's voice cracked, a desperate plea that tugged at his heart.
You need to trust me. I can explain everything, but we need to get out of here.
Before he could respond, a loud crash erupted from the far side of the room as one of the men slammed a fist down on the table.
What's going on? Why are you wasting my time?
Carter's eyes narrowed, urgency flooding his demeanor.
We don't have much time. If they realize we're onto them, this will get ugly fast.
Sarah, you owe me an explanation. When this is over, you will tell me everything.
Deal.
She whispered, her gaze earnest. They turned to leave, but the men at the table weren't having it.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Just leaving.
Carter said coolly, but Steve could feel the tension crackling in the air.
You're not walking out of here without paying a toll.
The man stepped closer, his voice low and threatening.
Steve, don't.
Sarah started, but he was already moving, adrenaline coursing through him.
Forget your toll.
He shouted, facing the men head on.
What you're doing is wrong. Is it?
The man sneered, a dangerous glint in his eyes.
Or is it just business? No, it's betrayal. You're taking lives for your own gain, and I won't let you ruin any more lives, starting with Sarah.
A tense silence fell, and for a heartbeat, it felt like a standoff, each side sizing the other up. Then, without warning, one of the men lunged forward, a knife glinting in the low light.
Run!
Carter shouted, pushing Steve and Sarah toward the exit. They surged through the beaded curtain, the chaos erupting behind them as the sounds of yelling and breaking glass filled the air. Steve's heart raced as they dashed through the crowd, adrenaline pushing him forward.
Where do we go?
Sarah gasped, her eyes wide with fear.
Just keep moving.
Carter barked, leading the way through a side door that opened into a narrow alleyway. The rain poured down, soaking them instantly.
Carter, what's the plan?
We need to get to my car. It's parked a few blocks away.
Are they going to follow us?
Sarah's voice trembled.
Not if we can help it.
Carter replied, eyeing the alley's entrance warily.
Just stay close.
They darted down the slick pavement, the sound of footsteps echoing behind them. The tension in the air was palpable, each breath a reminder of how close they were to danger.
What's your plan, Steve?
Sarah urged, glancing back as they rounded the corner.
You can't just confront them again.
I know, but we have to figure out how to stop this. I can't let them keep hurting people.
Then let me help you. I know things, Steve. Things that can help us.
Then tell me.
There are files, hidden in an office at the financial institution where I worked. I was gathering evidence against them before everything went sideways. If we can get to those files, we can expose them.
Files.
Carter's brow furrowed.
That's risky. You realize if we go back, they'll be waiting for us.
Then we have to be smart about it.
Steve replied, determination hardening in his voice.
We can't back down now.
Carter nodded, weighing the options.
All right, but we need a plan. If they catch wind of us, we won't make it out alive.
They reached the street corner, the city's lights shimmering in the rain-soaked night. Steve's mind raced as he formulated a plan.
Let's create a distraction. If we can draw their attention away, we can slip into the building unnoticed.
Distraction?
Sarah's eyes lit up with a mix of fear and excitement.
How?
I'll cause a scene.
Steve said, taking a deep breath.
You and Carter can sneak in while I keep them busy.
What?
Sarah protested, grabbing his arm.
No, I'm not letting you put yourself in danger like that.
It's the only way, Sarah. If I can buy you enough time, you can get the files we need to take them down. I won't let them win. Not after everything.
Tears glistened in her eyes, but she nodded slowly, understanding the stakes.
Okay, but you have to promise me you'll be careful.
I promise.
He replied, his heart heavy with the weight of what lay ahead. With a final glance at one another, they split off. Steve stepping into the light, his pulse pounding in his ears. He took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage he had left.
Hey, you looking for me?
The group of men who had been lurking in the shadows turned their attention toward him, surprise etched on their faces.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the one you want.
Get him!
One of them howled, and in an instant, they charged toward him. Steve turned and ran, adrenaline pumping through his veins as he sprinted down the street. The sound of footsteps followed closely behind, their shouts echoing in the night. He darted into a nearby alley, ducking behind a dumpster as he caught his breath, the cold rain drenching him to the bone.
Keep going.
He urged himself, peeking out to see if they had passed. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted from the direction of the financial institution. He could see the flicker of lights and shadows moving inside, the chaos unfolding within. He dashed toward the building, his heart pounding, praying that Sarah and Carter had made it inside. As he reached the entrance, he pushed the door open, slipping inside just as footsteps thundered behind him. The interior was eerily quiet, the air thick with tension. He glanced around, searching for any sign of them.
Sarah? Carter?
He called softly, his voice barely above a whisper. Door creaked open, and Sarah emerged, breathless and wide-eyed.
We found the files, but we need to hurry.
Good. Now we just have to get out of here.
Not so fast.
Voice boomed from behind them, the men flooding into the room, eyes blazing with anger. Steve's stomach dropped as he stepped protectively in front of Sarah.
You won't touch her.
Touch her.
The man laughed, a cruel smile spreading across his face.
You really think you can stop us? You have no idea what you're up against.
Maybe not, but I know enough to take you down.
What are you going to do? Fight us?
We'll see about that.
Steve said defiantly, his heart racing as he prepared for whatever came next.
Enough.
Carter shouted, stepping forward with authority.
You're surrounded. If you don't back down now, I will make sure you regret it.
The men paused, glancing at one another, uncertainty flickering in their eyes.
You think you can intimidate us?
In this city? Absolutely.
Carter's tone was unwavering.
Run.
Steve shouted suddenly, grabbing Sarah's hand and sprinting toward the back exit. They burst through the door, the night air hitting them like a wave of freedom.
Keep moving.
Carter urged, his voice steady as they raced down the street, their hearts pounding with the thrill of escape. As they turned the corner, Steve stole a glance back at the building. The shadows were still there, but they were fading into the darkness, powerless against the light of hope that surged within him.
We did it.
Sarah breathed, her eyes shining with relief as they slowed their pace.
We actually did it.
And now we have the evidence we need to bring them down.
Carter slowed beside them, his expression serious.
But this isn't over. They'll come after you, and we need to be ready.
We will be.
Steve replied, determination surging through him.
No more running, no more hiding.
As they continued down the street, the rain began to ease, the storm clouds parting to reveal a sliver of moonlight shining down. In that moment, Steve felt the weight of his past begin to lift, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose. Together, they would face whatever came next. Together, they would reclaim their lives from the shadows of betrayal and emerge into the light of redemption.